Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Tasha Romanelli. She is an intuitive healer based right here in Toronto. How are you doing today, Tasha?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here and share a bit about your journey and your insights and just be a part of this community that we're building here together as a group.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me and for helping me to share my story to help empower other women.
Absolutely. It's important that we get the stories out there and help and inspire and reach as many women as we can together. So let's jump right in. Tasha, as I mentioned, you are an intuitive energy healer with the gift to see and feel energy, basically a clairvoyant. So how old were you when you discovered you could see energy or could see things that others couldn't?
My earliest memory, I would say, from what I can remember, is when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's really young, and, you know, especially when you're young, you know, you're filled with an overactive imagination for the most part.
Yeah.
But I did have an imaginary friend. Maybe some of your listeners have had some too, but I have had an imaginary friend. And her name was Brianna, and she had this beautiful red, orangey, fiery hair, and she wore in a braid over her right shoulder and wore green, and, well, she was a fairy.
Wow, that's very descriptive.
Yes, she was beautiful, and, oh my goodness, it's like almost as if like you could imagine, what's the girl from Frozen? You know, with the big orange hair. And
yes.
I don't know.
Elsa.
I don't have Elsa. I don't have girls, so we don't really watch these things. But, but like Elsa, you know, just a beautiful little fairy, and she was my best friend. And whenever we would play together, I always felt so safe. We would play dolls. You know, I'm a child of the 80s, so for me, you know, it was probably like Rainbow Bright and Care Bears and, you know, and a lot of it was like rainbows and unicorns. Yeah. I lived in that land, in that dream state of the La La Land. And it was a very welcoming experience. So I would say that was when I mean, at least the earliest, yeah, I can remember was that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did you bring this up or discuss this with your parents did you even bring it up with them at a young age?
Well, at that young age, I didn't even know that anything was wrong, really. Right. You just are. You just do your thing and have fun and play. Mm-hmm. But I remember this one time when I was playing with Brianna. My dad, I was in my bedroom playing, and I remember he walked by the bedroom door and he looked in and he looked at me and he's like, "Who are you talking to?" And like, I looked at him, I looked at Brianna, and then I looked at him like, "Why do you think I guess my thought would be like, why? I'm like, can you not see her? Like, yeah. You know, like, I don't understand. But it was in that split moment that I actually questioned, you know, who am I playing with?
Yeah.
And that moment of disbelief made her disappear forever. And I never saw her ever again.
Wow.
So it was a pretty like, you know, shaking moment. I mean, as a young kid and you're like, where's my best friend?
Yeah. You must've been heartbroken that she wasn't around anymore.
Yes, she was most definitely heartbroken. I was most definitely heartbroken.
I'm sure she was heartbroken too.
But, you know, it's interesting. I was a collector of unicorn figurines, porcelain figurines. And it's almost as if like that was my way, one, to always keep myself safe and to be in this land of magic, if you will. Yeah. And that belief of magic. And so even though I never really saw her, I kind of carried these totems along with me along the way to make me feel always safe and comfortable with myself whenever I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so when my parents, I mean, my mom, she was pretty open, I would say, like later down the road, you know, her and I would have a lot of fun, actually. We used to have this ghost that used to live with us when I moved to a different home. I think his name was Herbie the Ghost, I believe. Yeah, Herbie. I want to say Herbie. I don't know. I could be wrong. But it was a long time ago. And it's a little creepy. But we used to make it a game. And maybe my mom, I don't know, she said there was a ghost that would live with us. So whatever. Okay. We went with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we would just have fun with it for the most part. But my dad he was a skeptic. He wouldn't believe in it, even if you took a picture and showed it to him, and he would say that was fake. He's that guy, right?
Yeah.
He's the one who is the skeptic and believes what you see in this reality is what's real, not what lives beyond the veil.
Yeah.
So, it did make me question a lot about what I saw and felt for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that having these gifts as a young child, you went through and dealt with quite a bit of shit from other kids thinking you're weird. And I mean, how as a kid did you deal with that?
Well, for the most part, it stayed within the home.
Yeah.
Again, just sort of like, these are things that we don't share with people, right? This is very taboo. We keep it between us.
Is that what your mom told you?
Yeah, I would say it was my mom, my grandmother.
Was your grandmother a believer too?
Yeah, my grandmother was a very highly intuitive woman.
Okay.
Not necessarily the ways that I've expressed it, but most definitely, giving me that permission to at least explore or to know that I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
For the most part. But yeah, no, for the most part, it stayed within the home. My brother and I, we shared very similar experiences, him and I. So it wasn't just me seeing things. We shared a lot of similar sightings and seeings together that validated what we would see. So it kind of like I had my brother as someone that I could trust and to talk to about those things.
Because I would imagine that's incredibly important. You need someone to talk to when you're dealing with that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. But then as I got older, like when I was like 12, 13, my mom was really into the Ouija board. And yeah, so
I remember those.
Yeah, the Ouija board. Let me tell you, that shit is real. You don't even realize the energy you attract with one of those things, because when people all come together believing that there's this sort of phenomena that's going to happen, it happens. But that was a way that I could kind of bring in my freak, if you will, with my girlfriends. So we would sit and play the Ouija board and have pretty interesting encounters, and we would share that. We would all be really scared for the most part.
Yeah.
But at least I could share that with them. And then over time, some of my friends, we would just connect and resonate. I have a best friend of mine who's been my best friend since I was 7 years old. So, she totally knows all about me and supports me and understands me and tries to support me the best that she can, as well as, my husband. But yeah, it's for a very long time. It wasn't something we went out and we talked about to people. Again, this was the 80s and early 90s, and anyone who would talk about these types of stuff was witchery, witchcraft, voodoo, all of this taboo stuff that you just don't talk about because you would be judged and ridiculed. So yeah, I was very fearful of all that.
I'm sure. So there must have been a light bulb moment for you when you just thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm not weird. This is a gift I've been given and I'm going to embrace it and use it. I don't care what people say. What was that? Was there that light bulb moment, and when did that happen?
Well, I would say it happened probably back in 2014, when I really just wasn't happy in my job anymore. I just didn't feel like I was really myself. I was doing a career that I loved, but I buried my gifts of the sight through my artistry. And so I've been an art director for 20 years and in advertising. And, you know, the world of advertising can definitely in itself play games with you in terms of code of ethics and, you know, really it's ethics, I would say. And it just really played a lot on me. And being a mom with some young boys, I just felt like my heart was not in the right place. And so I stepped out into this spiritual journey and, you know, kind of tiptoed coming out of the spiritual closet, I would say back then, using like yoga as a means to express myself. Again, through my art, I, you know, worked and created meditation malas, so working with crystals. So hiding behind things that I felt would keep me safe. But it wasn't until this year, actually, during quarantine, I got let go of my job in January due to loss of clients and wasn't able to keep me on staff. But it was a blessing in disguise. You know, I look back at it and I'm like, okay, this is the universe pushing me out, right?
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And then through quarantine, it gave me a lot of time to reflect and to look back at myself and really what's truth and what does my heart truly desire. And I joined a women's networking group and they made me feel so welcomed and so safe, and everything just sort of flooding back again of like, this is who I am. This is who I need to be. And I really fully stepped out of the spiritual closet this year. I mean, I'm pushing, I'm like my 40th year.
That's a long time to contain all that.
Well, 40 years almost, right? Like I'm in like, my 40th round of going around the sun. And, and I'm just at the point now of like, fuck it. Let my freak out. Let the world see who I am.
Let your freak flag fly.
You bet.
I love it. You know, so often it's funny, people, when they get laid off or let go from a job, they get so upset and so pissed, and understandably because the financial, but most people don't look at it as this is what's meant to be. Like this is the universe telling me that it's no longer for me. This doesn't fit my narrative anymore.
Well, that's just it, right? It is a narrative. You know, it's the ego, really. The ego being fed of like, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be making. This is the way my life should look like, you know, and you get trapped in those things and those false realities.
Yeah.
But when you actually, you know, find stillness and sit with your own bullshit, you know, and come to terms of it's just not serving you, you can either make two choices. You can, one, keep going with it and still can suffer, or two, accept it and move on.
Yeah.
And there's so much power in that when you choose to accept your drama, your narrative, your stories, the things that you think it should be right, and say no, right?
Absolutely.
And say, no, that is not me. That is not me. That is not my soul's purpose. This is not supporting my truth. This is not supporting my innate gifts.
Yeah.
And what really is when I stand in my truth and knowing I am like, the power within that is so real and so authentic that your light shines so bright that you become this beacon for others. And that to me is like, I'm fulfilling a purpose.
Absolutely.
And when you're sharing your light and your gift with others and letting your freak flag out, you know, others can relate. People connect with that.
Yep.
They want a piece of that.
That's right.
And so my role is basically, you know, to have them have a piece of that, but not my piece, for them to step into their own piece and let their own freak flag fly, you know?
Yeah.
That's the real McCoy right there.
For sure. It's such an incredible feeling when you can do that though, and let go and just revel in it and have it affect or impact other people. That is one of the most incredible feelings in the world, when you bring joy to other people through your gifts and what you're able to do, and it spills out and it continues. It's a domino effect. It's amazing.
Well, and it comes with a lot of practice,
Sure.
A lot of humility, being completely vulnerable, and allowing yourself to really sit with that and be kind and self-compassionate. Like, we're so hard on ourselves.
We are
so hard on ourselves that we get so caught up. And if we can just like find that moment of stillness, and like, COVID this year has been such a blessing. I know it sounds horrible to say that, as I know many are struggling. I mean, we're struggling too in some degrees.
Yeah.
But what I will say intuitively, what's come out of all of this and this pandemic is it's given a time for us to reset. And it's given a time for us all to come home to self.
Yep.
And what we want, what we need, what we desire.
Absolutely.
But what comes next is finding that courage to fully step out and to be your true self.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when this whole thing started, there was an article that came out. It was called Gaslighting, and it talked about this and the fact that this is the first time in almost, I wouldn't say history, but in many, many years that the entire world has actually stopped. And it's given us all a chance to reset, as you said. And it's the first time there's been no smog in the skies in LA. It's the first time that you could see the bottom of the canals in Venice. It's the first time. We just need to live in these moments and soak them up and realize what is important here. All this shit, all these possessions, and I got to have the best of this and I got to have the best, doesn't matter. When it all comes down to it, none of that shit matters at all.
Yeah.
And figure out what's important to you and what makes you happy. This is the time to do it right now.
Well, exactly. I mean, back in ancient Egypt, the Egyptians believed that, if you bring your golds and your jewels with you, that was that safe passageway to the other side, right?
Yep.
But the truth of the matter is we can't bring those things with us.
No.
They are of materialistic things.
That's
and
right.
Even though they may in the fleeting moment bring us joy and happiness, it will never sustain us.
No.
And that's what this time has given us, is those moments of reflection, to your point, and to know that what really matters.
Yeah.
What really matters for you, but also to surround yourself with the right people that is going to support you and to help you grow and be able to hold space for you as you do grow and stand in your truth and find that courage, and then be able to give that back, right?
Yeah.
Give it back to others.
That's right. That's what it's all about, is giving it back. I just hope that when we do, whenever that is, come out the other side of all of this mess, that people do keep into practice the things that they learned during this time and continue it outside and not fall back into those old patterns and get caught up in the greed and the rat race of humanity that is,
Well, I was told or taught anyway, I think it's somewhere between 67 or 88 days when we create a new habit. So it's interesting that, it's already been 7 months since the pandemic has hit us, since having this conversation now. It's been a long time. However, if you're not practicing new behaviors or mindsets and changing that narrative for yourself, I hope that people can learn from that and decide to make those right changes for themselves so that they can make some positive change in their lives and those around them. I hope that we all come out on the other side. I mean, it's been a long time, and I hope that people are making the right choices.
Here's to hoping. But I mean, all we can really do is our part in our world, and hopefully that spills out or has a domino effect on the people around us, and it carries out that way and amplifies that way, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What would you say is the most inspiring or favorite part of your career or business right now?
To be honest, it's learning about other people, learning about their stories, hearing where they come from. I just love learning about another person, another soul, their journey. we all have a story to tell, and, one is not more important than the other. We all suffer, we all struggle. And I love hearing about how others, come through on the other side, and their journey because of that. I don't know. It's really inspiring personally. And to know that within someone's suffering and struggle, that there are moments in my journey that I can relate to and connect with, even though there are different experiences, the emotions and thoughts are fairly similar in nature. And that's when we can really learn from each other and help heal each other, really. Yeah. So for what I do as a healer and being an intuitive, a big part of what I do is to listen, right? And without the listening, then it's just me blabbing my mouth off and my own, perspectives. Yeah. But it's not about me, right? It's really not about me. And as a healer, you gotta listen. Either, listening to their soul, listening to what they're saying, listening to what they're feeling, to really resonate and connect with them, because people need to be seen, people need to be heard, so that they feel like they belong.
Absolutely.
And growing up with the gifts that I had, I was really isolated. I couldn't really share a lot of who I was for a big part of that. And that loneliness, really hurt. And feeling isolated and abandoned and, but a lot of that was of my own choice, right? Like you don't realize you have a choice. But I did have a choice, and I chose to be scared, and I chose to let my fear overpower me. But, as you get older, you become wiser, and you learn, and you realize that, no, life is too short.
That's right. Well, fear is a huge stumbling block for so many people. It prevents so many people from doing so many things. And I understand it's tough to overcome that fear, but you have to. Otherwise, you're going to lead a life that you're not happy with.
Absolutely.
It's just, but it is difficult to overcome that fear, but you have to push through. You have to do it if you want a better life for yourself, if you want to accomplish things in life.
Well, and it takes time, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing is like, sometimes it can be a light switch, and that comes at a point, unfortunately, when you're at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And when you're at rock bottom, it's like you have that choice of like, you get back up and try again, or you stay on the ground and you sit in your own shit for as long as you do.
Yeah.
And it's hard, choosing courage over fear is not easy.
No.
I think that's like with anything in life. It's like, if it's too easy, it is too good to be true, right? Like really, it is.
Yep.
As long as you have like a goal or an intention that you're setting, let that be your guiding light. Like, what is that you want out of life? And I know that's a big question.
It is.
It's a huge question, but if you have some sort of inkling of a feeling of what that looks or feels like to you, then at least you can go on about your days and your life asking yourself those two questions. One, if I go down this way, is it going to get me closer to the feeling that I want in life? Or if I go down this way, will it?
Yeah.
And chances are the easy way is never the right way. It may be a quick fix, but it's not going to, get you to the destination that you want. And it's always the harder choice, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And that is really choosing courage over fear.
Yeah. And that's it, right? Choosing courage over fear. I mean, it's tough to make that jump. Let's just use entrepreneurship as an example. People that are as yourself and I have been as well, in a 9-to-5, and it's comfortable. You got benefits and this and that and the other. And then to upheave all of that and take the leap of faith into entrepreneurship and leave the comfort. People think you're crazy, first of all, a lot of people, but it does take a lot of courage to do it. 100%. And that's what a lot of people I've found that I've encountered anyways, use as a crutch or an excuse. I don't want to use the word excuse, but it's like, well, I can't, I have this corporate job and I have to do this and I have to support this and do that. And you can do it. You just have to want it bad enough.
Exactly. And that's what happened to me, like my heart wanted it so bad to really just be myself and to share my gifts with the world. And the universe was like, well, you know what, honey? Your wish is our command. And here you go. You are now laid off. Now, here is a clean canvas for you.
Yeah.
The choice is yours. We've laid the path for you.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to put the first foot forward and
That's
to
right.
take that step.
That's
but along
right.
that path, sorry, my dog is making noises.
That's okay.
But along that path, there are rose bushes that have thorns that you may have to walk through. There's going to be forks in the road and there's going to be temptations, right? It's that easy or hard choice. But as long as you know that the end of the path is that place of truth for yourself and standing in your power, then nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Nothing will stop you.
That's right. And that goes back to that whole thing we were just saying about people getting laid off, and they look at it as a horrible thing and it's life changing, life altering, as life ending. Like this is the end of the world, when really they should see it as an opportunity to move on. It's time for that chapter of your life, of the book, your life, to end and start a new chapter.
Absolutely. I mean, it's painful, right?
Yeah.
Any sort of thing that you're letting go is a detachment. It is
Yes.
grieving. And so acknowledge that. Right? Acknowledge where you are on the grieving pull, like day one could be like devastating. When I got the news, I will tell you, the first thing I did, I cried my face off. I did.
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out and had my cry. And then I pulled my shit back together and I said, okay, this is the reality. Take a deep breath in.
Yeah.
Go forth, baby. Just go forth.
Just let go and do it.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. But the biggest challenge of letting go of that job was the people.
Yeah.
And, I ran a department and I had, other art directors and designers and copywriters that would work with me. And those are the people that I miss, it's the people, the relationships and those connections that was really hard for me to let go of. Some that, definitely pulled me in a way that agitated me, and while others that, really enlightened me and made my spirit rise. And that was really hard. And it's not like I said goodbye to them forever. I still reach out and connect with them, but it is definitely the hardest thing is when it's a relationship with another person that you got to let go of. But really the truth of it is building a real relationship with yourself.
That's right.
That's where I had to learn after that is like, no, love yourself. Stop looking at others to fulfill your purpose. You fill your own purpose by loving yourself and trusting your gifts.
Well, that's where the whole thing begins. Everything. That's the basis. That's the foundation for everything is self-love.
Absolutely.
So you're also a Reiki master and a meditation teacher. How do you incorporate or couple these skill sets along with the clairvoyance part of things into your business to help your clients?
So being a clairvoyant or an intuitive is very ornate.
Okay.
It is not something that, comes with a plan. It's not something that is very linear. It's whatever comes, and it's like what spirit is guiding you and directing you with. The thing with Reiki and, the meditation, becoming a certified meditation teacher helps provide the framework in how our analytical brain works as a human being. And by marrying these two ways of using my healing gifts gives me the opportunity to help teach my clients how to connect with their own energy that they can understand and relate with. Because it's like putting, like, if I could drop you in the labyrinth of my brain,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know which way to go, which way's up, which way's down, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I can put proper signs saying this way up, turn left, right? Help you navigate my mind, then then you can connect and see what I see, and then embody that and learn from that. And that's when like real transformation happens for you as a client, or for your guests listening. Like, you can connect and embody and release the energies that are within you that are holding you back, right? The emotional baggage, the mental baggage, the physical baggage, right? All of this stuff is like gunking up your soul.
Yeah.
Right? That's your truth. And by releasing all of that through Reiki and through helping you guide your mind, right? The mindset helps you to release all of that. And then with my gifts of being able to help you release and move and shift and see, that's when the transformation really happens, and it's life-changing.
Awesome. Can you walk us through? Now, I know I'm sure every client that you have has different needs and different services you provide to them, but could you walk us through your approach when you get contacted by a potential client, from the initial point of contact to actually working with them?
Absolutely. So I do way better talking to people because of my unique gifts. So I always listen to what their challenges are and what they're suffering with or what their problems may be. And then I suggest what the right, I guess, service would be for them. Because again, it's not about me, it's about them, and I'm here to serve them. And so someone who is completely new to the spiritual realm of healing, I try to keep it very simple. And the best place to start for that would be meditation.
Okay.
And so that would be one approach, helping you understand the core principles of meditation and the framework of meditation, how to get out of your monkey mind, how to use your breath, and then how to visualize, right? So those are like my 3 key ways of teaching through meditation.
Okay.
If they are, say, an experienced meditator and they are looking to help release energy, there will be 2 different things that I would suggest and offer to them. One being an energy reading. So an energy reading basically helps you to identify where you have those energetic blockages in your body and in your mind.
Okay.
Sometimes people just need to be aware of those things. Again, it comes back to that acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Once we know, then we can do something about it. So knowing is half the battle. And then the work is up to them to continue to do.
For sure.
So I hold the energetic mirror up for them, and they are able to see where their blocks are. That would be an energy reading. Then, alternatively, if they're like, I need help releasing that energy, a Reiki session or a crystal healing session is something that would be beneficial. So again, it's the core process is listening. What is it that they need right now in this moment? And then where can I help and service them with what I have to offer?
Okay.
But it is individual for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone has different needs.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through a different thing, different journey, different experience.
For sure.
And then some who are just looking to, grieve a relationship breakup, to, having a difficult conversation with their partner or a friend, or someone who has lost their job, to really wanting to connect with their spirit guides, like a whole other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But really my core principle is making sure that you understand my process, understand what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling and what I'm connecting with, so that you can connect and embody and relate. That's the number one thing. If you can't relate, then you're not connecting. And then there's no real transformation that I can provide to them.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is your 5-year plan for your business? Where do you see the business in 5 years?
I am on a mission to change the word or the definition of freak first and foremost.
I love it.
Right? Like, we hear the word freak as like not a good word. It's a negative, low vibration word. People feel icky when they're being called a freak.
Yeah.
Listen, I know I'm no stranger to that. So I want to redefine that, but I also want to help others learn how to let their freak out and whatever that is for them. So I'm actually in the process of writing my first book.
Awesome.
Let Your Freak Out, your guide to stepping out of the spiritual closet.
I love it.
So
very appropriately named.
Yes. And to be honest, my vision for that is to be, a published New York Times bestselling author.
Awesome.
And I want to take that, and I want to be able to be a public speaker who travels the world, if it's in the cards down the road with all of this COVID. But I'm hoping, having faith that it is.
It shall be. It shall be.
Yes. I want to travel the world to help and motivate others to let their own version of freak out.
Yeah.
That is really my big goal, to write and to speak and to share and to teach.
I love
through
that.
my own experiences, and empower and inspire others to do the same.
Amazing. I think that's an incredible goal, and you will attain it for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome. Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight to your character?
That's a good one. How long do we have? Yes, I sure do. This would be a very pivotal story that I share with you. Life-changing, really. When I was a teenager, I was in a domestic abusive relationship. First of all, no one should ever find themselves in one, let alone a child, which of what I was. At 14, I guess, would be the age.
Oh, man.
14. But I was so ashamed of myself for allowing myself to be controlled by my partner at the time. And I mean, there were several occasions that I found my very life at risk. In all fairness, it was a very horrific life experience for me.
I'm sure.
I lost a lot of my friends due to the possessive nature that my partner held over me. I was very alone and felt like I had no one to turn to. Even though I had my parents, I was just so ashamed and scared. One, not so much for me, but like scared for him to get him in trouble, which is so interesting because it's like our perpetrator, like, we can't tell because we don't want to ruin their lives.
That's right.
Like it sounds ridiculous saying it out of my mouth, those words, but when you're in that state, it's very true. And I really was scared of my life. There was moments where I just was paralyzed in fear, because of one, he would say, if you were to ever to leave me or to tell anybody, I'll kill myself.
Oh, man.
And, he would use and hang those things over me. And being the empath that I am, I was like, I don't want him to die because of me. Like I don't want to be responsible for that. And it went on for like 4 years of my teenage life. Yeah.
Wow.
I hated my life and depended on drugs to change my reality, which I'm sure a lot of people turn to. The reality in which I lived in just was hell. And I needed some peace and some sense of belonging to self, and doing drugs did that.
Yeah.
It was not the right thing to do, but in the moment is what helped me cope, because I didn't know any other way. So yeah, not proud of those moments, but I did what I did to survive.
Yeah.
But somehow in that moment of hitting rock bottom, as we talked about that, something bigger than me came over me. And that something bigger was hope. I had this huge inkling and this feeling that I was not meant to live my life like this, even at such a young age. I believed that there was something more for me. And one day I ran away from my partner on foot. Literally, like I ran. Like I love to run, but in this moment, this was a running of my life. And I ran and I ran and I was lost and I didn't know where I was going, because there had been other times where I ran and he had found me. But this time was different. This time I didn't want him to find me. I didn't want to be found, which is, I ended up finding myself running to church one day.
Wow.
On foot, still running as fast as I could. And interestingly enough, as I was running to church, so this is probably, I was 18 years old. I was running to church, and I bumped into a mutual friend of ours, of all things, like go figure, right?
Yeah.
Talk about like obstacles in the path.
Yeah.
You know, he saw me, and I looked at him, and I'm sure he must have thought I was nuts as I said this to him. I didn't stop. I just kept running, and I said, "You never saw me." And,
Wow.
and I can't even imagine, like, I think back to that day of like, I wonder what impact I actually had on his life by saying those words to him. Like, I never really thought of like how much I might have dumped emotional baggage on him in that very moment of like, you never saw me. And because I just didn't want him to go and tell my partner that he saw me, right? Oh yeah, she ran down this way, you know, like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to be found. So anyway, I wonder about that. I really do. But still running, I ran, as I said, I arrived to church, and now I am baptized. So I guess you can call me a Christian, but I'm not a practicing one.
Right.
But I ran to a place that I felt safe, and that was church. And as I got there, I prayed that the door would be unlocked, because I know it's sometimes, you know, they lock the doors. They just do. Yeah. And I was just like, please, 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 please be opened. And when I got there, I put my hand on the door now, and then I pulled it open, and it was open. And it was like this overwhelming sense of relief. I'm like, I feel safe. And I walked into the church, and I didn't see a soul. And I went and I sat at the first pew, knelt down, and I prayed my fucking heart out. I never prayed so much in my entire life, in my whole entire life, even to this day. Yeah. And I cried, and I prayed some more. And I do remember this day so clearly. I remember speaking to God, our creator. And I remember saying, I am ready. I am ready to let go. I am ready to live my life. And I made a promise in exchange that if you were to grant me this courage to break free of living life in fear, I promise I will help other women and help be their voice when they don't have one. Right? That was sort of my exchange, right? Like this like, give me this and I will do this for the greater good. Yeah. And at 18, like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Right. Right. And I had no idea how I would even fulfill that promise. No clue, but it worked. My wish was granted, and I found the courage to let go of my relationship with my abusive partner. And it was really interesting because the miracles that came flooding in afterwards were just wild. And I became this like wise soul that day, and something in me changed forever. And it was like, I became the light. I became that beacon that we talked about, for others to come, and to come for healing, to come for feeling safe. And it's really interesting because when I'm around children, even my own children, like, they just want to be around me. Like they, you know, they just want to play. They want to have fun. They want to laugh. And I'm like right in there, like, it's just like your vibe. Kid. It's just you. It's my vibe. It's this joyful inner child of innocence, really, that I'm able to put out there unknowingly. And but now, like, that was that moment at 18 that I was able to fully step into that enlightened moment, and to carry my light with me wherever I went moving forward. So I mean, that's definitely something, you know, to give you insight of who I am as a character.
That's one hell of a story. Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot more details in that story, but those are the Cole's notes.
I love it. It's inspiring for sure.
Well, you'll have to read my book to get the full details.
I will definitely do that when it comes out. Absolutely. I want a signed copy.
You bet.
For when you become that New York Times bestseller author.
Thank you.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Really, it's like great ideas and great stories, thought-provoking concepts, philosophy, either served up in art, books, documentaries, film. You know, I'm a sucker for knowledge, a sucker for truth, a sucker for, you know, learning the meaning of life, learning about us humans. You know, we're such fascinating beings. So yeah, that definitely inspires me. But what also inspires me is my darkness. It is, you know, it's like when I get to those moments of weakness and I'm stepping into those low vibes of self, it inspires me to know that I can make change, not just within myself, but within others, if they're willing to listen.
Awesome. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice that I ever received is you can have it all, just not all at the same time.
I like that.
Yeah. I remember the day my friend, who was also a colleague of mine, told me this. And I was in a point of my career where I had started wavering kind of back and forth if I should or should not make that big jump to quit. And so there were many things that I wanted to do. I had all these big dreams. And so she told me this, you know, and my natural instinct was just to pull back and become defensive. Yeah. I wasn't willing to accept it. I'm like, no, I can have it all. Like, who are you to tell me, right? Like those natural defenses, right?
Yeah.
Trigger of, no, you can't have it all. I'm like, I can. You can't tell me that. But then as time went by and I sat with that, I was like, holy shit, she's right. I can have it all, just not all at the same time. And when you're practicing mindfulness and mindfulness meditation, you realize that the only thing that matters is the present moment, right? And so in a single moment, as we have this conversation, this is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And you know, and what happens next, well, what happened next? But it's a chain effect. It is a chain link effect that makes all things work in the time that it needs to work into. And that's when you can have it all, just not all at the same time.
I love it. Very wise words. Who would you say have been 3 of the most influential people in your life?
The 3 people, they have to be real people.
No, they don't have to be.
No, I'm just teasing. To be honest, my grandmother would be my first. My nana, she taught me what love is. And my husband, he taught me how to love. And my children.
Awesome.
They keep me honest.
There you go, as kids always do. What does the word success mean to you?
To put it plainly, is to be happy. And it also means that I shall not shall not instill others to provide that happiness to me, that the happiness has to come from within me. Yeah. And when I can find my own true, authentic happiness, then I'm successful. I know it sounds corny, but that's
no, not at all. You can't lean on or rely on others for your happiness.
It's true. It's so true. Yeah.
Well, again, it goes back to everything, the whole foundation, starting with you and self-love and self-happiness and all of it. Everything begins at ground zero with you.
Absolutely. You got it.
If you could sit and have a 1-hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I love this question. I would love to sit down and connect with someone or something of a higher intelligence, something that knows the meaning of life, something that we here on Earth call aliens. I would love, to have a conversation with an alien, whatever that looks like.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you believe in aliens?
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something else out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we call them aliens, and it's a word that has this like weird, creepy, like freaky.
It has a negative connotation.
Negative
I think people think you're crazy if you believe in aliens or you think they're out there. Yeah, it's a very negative connotation for sure.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to connect with that.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there who say they have connected with them, so.
Well, I am one of them.
What do you? Yes. What's that?
I said yes. I am one of them.
All right, you have you?
I sure have. Do we have a moment to kind of go into the story?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I want to share this story. I have actually 2 stories that I want to share.
Okay.
One of which I actually saw 2 different types of aliens. The first time that I've ever connected with an alien, I had no idea that it was an energy that I had never experienced before, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to get a massage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was laying down on my face, on my stomach to get my massage. And I guess you could say I was already kind of getting into that relaxed state, right? So it's always like when you're in that moment of relaxation that things come forth, like that's like meditation, whatever. And I saw this freaking alien and I was like, whoa, what the hell is that? And it was like this really short little alien and it was only one. Mm-hmm. And I immediately put up like my protection energy. So when I feel unsafe, I have like this methodology that I use.
Mm-hmm.
I call upon certain archangels. In this case, I called upon Archangel Michael to protect me and to keep me safe from this energy because it was really foreign. It literally was out of this world.
Yeah.
And called in Archangel Michael, felt protected, put myself in the white light. And then I called in Archangel Gabriel. Mm-hmm. And Gabriel is the archangel of communication. And so I basically said to this alien, and I said, you cannot talk directly to me. You're not allowed to. Mm-hmm. And if you need to connect and converse with me, you can do so through Archangel Gabriel. Because in this way, I know that the words that are coming, or the whatever telepathically is coming through to you, to me, it will only be of my highest truth. Mm-hmm. And to serve my highest truth. And so the message wasn't even for me. It was actually for my massage therapist.
Wow.
Which was so wild. And so I downloaded the message and then I was like, okay, what do I do with this? Like, what do I do with this information?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and cause I never experienced anything like this before. Mm-hmm. And so I know my massage therapist, we are good friends. And she, definitely has some inclining to this spiritual realm like me. So she's no stranger of my beliefs and all this good jazz. Mm-hmm. So after my massage, I told her. And it was interesting because one of the messages that came through was to do with something about Mexico and the Mayans. And she said to me, she's like, oh my God, Tash. She's like, I'm going to Mexico in 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yes, I'm totally serious. And I'm like, okay. I don't know, but there's something there when you get there and you need to pay very attention to it. And so I did my best to kind of guide her from what I was able to download and to receive and to share for her higher self. But it was a really weird experience to put it in those terms.
Yeah.
So that was one time. And then another time, it was a whole other experience and it was a whole other species of aliens. And these aliens, there was actually 3 of them. And they were like really, really tall and skinny, slender.
Yeah.
And they lived in the cosmos. And this was when, again, I was in the midst of getting a crystal healing session done. So I was on my back on the table. bizarrest times when things come, but they just come.
Yeah.
And I just was like feeling and connected. Like the energy was so welcoming this time. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel like, the alerts, was like, there's some kind of crazy weird energy happening here. I actually felt safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I welcomed it and didn't call in my guardian angels or spirit guides. I just like, okay, I'm rolling with this. I'm open to receive what is the information that you need to share with me. And literally I was in the cosmos. So if anyone has been able to transcend through a meditation, like this was a moment of transcending. And I was literally up in the universe. Energetically speaking, I like astral traveled, left my body. I was there.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds wild, but it does exist,
it is.
my friend.
That's
yes.
incredible.
And so, well, as a creative mind like you, hopefully you can kind of get there a little faster than others, but it was definitely an experience. And they shared with me some pretty cool stuff. Just where we come from, what are we? And yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, I would have to share with y'all in a different space for that. But yeah, it is definitely wild. So
that is incredible.
If I could have a 1-hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead or whatever, that would be why I would want to talk to aliens.
That makes sense.
Because they are of a higher intelligence
that
could answer a lot of questions that us humans just don't have the knowledge
answers to. Yeah, for sure.
So there you have it.
That's pretty incredible. Both stories. Yeah.
I know.
Wow. All right. Back down to reality. Back down to the task at hand. That is just incredible. Tasha, what do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I'm a visionary. Okay. I'm a visionary and a major manifester.
If you could hold on to one memory from your life forever, which one would it be?
Well, in this moment to the life that I've had so far, it's hearing my grandmother say my name. And I can still hear her. And it brings me so much comfort and so much joy hearing her say my name. I love it. Yeah,
it's something so simple, but has such a profound impact.
Yep. She would always say.
I can completely relate because my grandma passed. Yeah, she passed in May from COVID, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And sometimes, not very often, but I can hear her say my name, and that's just a comfort. It's nice to hear.
Right? Isn't it? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she would always say this, "Hi, Natasha," but not like that, in her own way.
Well, my grandmother had a French accent, so. And she always called me Bradley. She was the only, other than my mom, who only calls me Bradley when she's angry, but she was the only person that called me Bradley. It was my grandmother.
Yeah. It's amazing
She never called me Brad. Never.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. It is a very profound and visceral feeling to connect with that. It's really deep rooted for sure. Beautiful.
How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered. That's a good one. That perhaps that, I was a woman who chose to live a life on her own terms, who was someone that could love deeply and shared her light with everyone that she could.
Beautiful. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Love.
Okay. What is your personal motto?
Get back up and try again.
Very wise. I love it. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
When we collectively work together as one, magic happens.
I love that definition.
Yeah, and we inspire one another to make positive change in this world.
Beautiful. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Well, I am writing that one book, but that wouldn't be my autobiography.
No.
The autobiography that I would write would be called Amazing Grace. And yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Amazing, as in not like amazing. Amazing
Not
grace.
amazing. Amazing.
Amazing grace.
I love it.
Yes, it's the duality of my worlds, of mixing my Christian roots to my own way of living. Blend of whatever my world is of philosophy. Not a practicing Buddhist, but believing in all things, spirituality, really, I guess you could say. And yeah, bringing those two worlds together, which is amazing.
When worlds collide.
Exactly. To make me.
What makes you smile?
So many things make me smile.
List off three for me.
Oh, what's that?
List off three for me.
3? I'll start off by being at peace with myself, my loved ones, and great conversations like this with other human beings.
I've been smiling the whole way through. It's been awesome.
Me too.
And a conversation on another level. It's just, it's incredible. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Early bird or night owl?
Ooh, I come to life as a night owl, my friend.
Me too. I find that I do my most creative thinking and work, and I work best at night.
Absolutely. First of all, an owl is one of my animal spirits, and obsessed with animals in general, but owl specifically is one of them. And if you could see where I'm sitting right now in my living room, I have this massive, massive canvas of an owl. It's a beautiful picture. And it spoke to me, and I had to have it. And so I brought it home, and it sits here, and it's our protector. Awesome. I know there are some myths of like when there is an owl present, illness is upon you, but I see it as my eyes at night and being able to see things that we all can't see, even in our reality. So it's my protector and my wise owl. And so when night falls, that's where I come alive, like you.
Yeah.
The creative juice just flows.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If you came with a warning label, what would your label say?
I love this. Watch out. You might be blinded by the light.
I love it. That's awesome.
Hey man, you know what? Like sometimes my energy can be too much for some. If you're on a lower frequency and I'm at this high frequency and you see this light, this beacon coming at you a mile a minute, sometimes it's very apprehensive. It's like it's like in the mornings when you're in that really deep sleep and then someone turns the light on or like opens the curtains and it's like, you're like, I'm blind. Like, what are you doing? That can be me for some people. And I'm okay with that. It's just, they're on a different journey than I am. And that's okay.
Right. That's right. Yeah. We're just, I hear you.
Yeah.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked in a room, what song would that be?
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say my theme song has changed from time to time, but in this moment right now, I am so crushing hard on The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. Are you familiar with the tune?
Oh, yes. Fleetwood Mac is incredible. Stevie Nicks is just, her voice is out of this world. It's incredible. I absolutely love her voice.
Yes. And The Chain is like this perfect harmony between all band members coming together and, creating a masterpiece and everything about it. I just love it. But to me, it is like the symbol of freedom. Of letting go, right?
Yeah.
And talking about like those chain reactions to, little fleeting moments. But that would be the one song in this moment right now that every time I put it on the record player, I'm like, I'm in it. I'm like in the song. Like I'm
Oh,
one with the music.
You're a vinyl fan?
Oh yeah. My husband and I,
Awesome.
we love vinyl.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
Now I'm going to go, now when we're done this, I'm going to have to go listen to some Fleetwood Mac.
Yes, please do. Please do. Please do.
I will. If you could, would you rather be able to dance like Michael Jackson or sing like Freddie Mercury?
Oh, sing like Freddie Mercury all the way. 100%. He's amazing.
He was another, just an incredible out of this world voice. I mean, these musicians and artists alike, but these musicians that come along very rarely, like the Freddie Mercurys and the Stevie Nicks and the Jimi Hendrixes and the Eddie Van Halens, and these it's almost like the talent is otherworldly from these people, and they don't come along very often in our lifetime, but just they are incredible to watch and see and listen to, and it's just amazing.
Well, that's because they let their freak out, right?
Yeah.
They did. They totally listened to their truth, and they used that truth as their power and their gifts to share with other people. And when you do that, that's like real magic, right? And so, I am 100% aligned with what you just said. Like, it is very rare that these people, show up in our lives that have these gifts, but we all have this ability. Yeah. We all do, if we just choose to listen, right? And to have that courage to step out and be yourself.
Some people just don't unfurl that flag.
They don't.
And it's a shame, because think about how much is being missed in the world by people not letting their freak flag fly and unfurling that and sharing their gifts with the world.
Absolutely. It's sad.
It's kind of sad when you think about it.
It is. Yeah.
I do believe, and I often struggled with this and given a lot of thought to the fact that, do you think that people are born, like, let's use athletes and musicians as an example, people are born with natural abilities in a lot of cases, like these cases, like Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen and Stevie Nicks. And I think those talents, they're just born with that. They're just naturally have that talent within them. But I also look at the other side of the coin. Can those talents be learned? Can they attain that level of, not success, what's the word I'm looking for? Can they attain that skill level the same as the people who are born with these gifts, do you think?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. I believe that, as I've said, we all have these beautiful gifts. Mm-hmm. How we choose to show up and to serve the world is totally different from one person to the next. These people, their stars were aligned to be those personalities, to be these idols for many people, for generations, and some even still to this day. Like, I'm still talking about all of like Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, been around since the 60s. Yeah. But I believe that you can still make huge impact with your gifts on a really small scale. Mm-hmm. And as long as it's coming from a place of integrity, mm-hmm. a place that is not self-serving, that you can really embrace that. And so, to that caliber that these artists and athletes have performed, that's one way of expressing that. Mm-hmm. But for example, for the mom who's at home, working from home and, doesn't have that platform to share, but is still making a huge impact on her children through her own gifts, either through teaching, through cooking, through showing courage or whatever it might be, she's still making an impact. And those are her gifts. But not everybody desires to have the attention that those, athletes and musicians have had, right? Sure.
Yeah.
So it really is dependent on your soul's purpose.
But
and I don't know. That's just how I feel. Sorry, go ahead.
But do you think that a kid who wants to pick up the guitar and play like Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen, mm-hmm. that level of skill, do you think that level of skill is attainable for anybody, as much so as someone like one of these two guitar players, where I just think that they are just naturally born with that talent. That's it. There's no, I just think they're naturally born with it. It's like they came out of the womb with a guitar in their hands.
Right.
Do you think that that's attainable for someone who isn't necessarily born with that skill level?
No, for sure. Okay, I hear what you're saying. So for me, I could not pick up a guitar for the life of me and play. I just couldn't. Right. But that's not my gift.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that those people got to seeing what their gift was at a very young age and stuck with it.
Okay.
Same thing with an artist. There's some pretty fascinating, amazing, illustrators out there.
Yeah.
Painters, creators. That they've just over time, had an interest and stuck with it. But they were also supported by the people around them. Like think about Cristiano Ronaldo, who is like one of the best soccer players in the world, or football players, whoever's listening. Yeah. But, he trained himself to be that amazing, and through his personality, he was able to attract the right people into his life to put him in the light for others to see and to inspire. But those are all choices we make. So Eddie Van Halen, did not come out of his mother's womb with a guitar, but found an interest in it, found his gift really early in life and stuck with it.
Yeah.
And that's half the battle with us humans right now, is that like we are so distracted by so many different things that we don't know what our gifts are anymore. Yeah. But if we just find stillness within ourselves through multiple different types of practices, like meditation is a great one, you can really come back to home to self, and like what means what's good for you.
Yeah.
And what works. And not listen to what other people are saying, not listening to what other people are doing, like listen to you. And that's what happened to me as I go back, rewind to the beginning of this recording of, I lost my job. Yeah. I had time to think. COVID hit, I fell into a dark space, but I was able to put the flashlight on into that dark space and to hone into why I'm here in the first place and what I need to do to move forward.
Yeah.
Right. Without listening to other people, without, having other people's judgments on me. I listened to me and I brought myself home to myself and said, this is what I need to do because this is what's going to serve me.
Yeah.
And in the last 6-7 months, so much has changed. This has been the first year since practicing Reiki that I, have had my busiest season yet, which is bizarre considering all things.
Yeah, no kidding.
But because I'm out there and I'm talking about me, I'm talking about what I can do, how I can help others, how I can share my gift with others. And I'm sharing my light and people see that light. And that's the same thing with, Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen to, Stevie Nicks, all the people that we've been talking about, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Yeah. They stood in their power. And when you stand in your power, that's when your light shines the brightest.
That's right. That's it.
So, I don't know, that's a really long-ended, answer to your question, but yeah, no one is technically born with a guitar coming out of the mouth.
No, of course. But I just
some
think
find it sooner than others.
I don't know. I just think that some of these musicians and athletes that have been born into the world they just naturally have those gifts within them. They're born with those gifts and they find them very, very early on and hone them and get there. It seems as though it's easier for people like of that caliber of skill that have gone before us that have these skills than it would be for most, is what I'm trying to get at. And,
I understand.
Well,
within the spiritual realm, there are things called clairs. Not sure if you're familiar with what those are.
No.
Okay. So clairs are basically our antennas to connecting with spirit or with our creator of some degree. So our gifts. Okay. And myself, I'm a clairvoyant. So I have the gift to see. And I also am clairsentient, which means that I can feel. So being an empath. Those are ways that I listen to my truth. So when I'm like seeing when I'm visioning, so when I'm saying I'm a visionary, I'm able to visually see things that are not here yet, and either project that or do something with that. And so I created art with that because I could see the art before the art even existed in our reality. So that's what I would do.
Okay.
I can see space and time as like one whole thing, and I can, but I can also feel. So those two clairs are what I use to activate my truth. Okay. To come home to self. Then there is claircognizance, which is a sense of knowing. And so to your point, perhaps, Eddie Van Halen had the sense of knowing that this is what I'm doing. This is who I am, without questioning it, without doubting it. It's a sense of knowing. Then there is clairaudience, and clairaudience is this gift to hear. So a lot of musicians, oddly enough, have this gift, a lot of writers as well. And they could basically hear the words or hear the music before it even exists.
Right.
And that's how they create, right? So our natural being of humans is to create, whatever that might be. And mine is to bring things to life, through my visions and my feelings, and to bring energy home to self for others and for myself, being able to see and feel energy. Okay. But I'm also an artist, right? So I know how to create things aesthetically, visually, design that way. And so once you kind of get clear on what your clairs are, then you can use that to navigate your way of being. Right. And that's trusting yourself, right? Trusting to know your truth. And so when I'm seeing something and I'm feeling something, then I have to trust that. Yeah. And if I'm not trusting that, then usually a tertiary clair will kick in. And for me, that is clairaudience. And it means that basically spirit is like yelling at me, screaming at me, saying, you need to listen to this. You're not paying attention, because you're not, like, for me, it's exactly like I was saying, my job that I was in, I'll go back to that, right? The 9 to 5, intuitively, it killed me. My spirit died, right? My gut was like, you do not belong here. What are you doing here? Get out. Get out. Exactly. And I could see the vision for myself, but I didn't listen, right? And so the world, the universe kicked me on my feet and said, off you go. You got to do this, right? Yeah. And so for your listeners, for themselves, and if they're curious to know like how they can, connect with their own truth and their own innate gifts and their superpowers, it is pay attention to how you receive information. Do you see things first? Do you feel things first? Do you hear things first? Or do you just know? Yeah. Right? I'll ask you the question. Like the question of being, if you can think back to your favorite vacation, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Vision, seeing things, meeting people.
Okay. And when you meet people, like what happens next? Like what happens after that? You're seeing people, meeting people. Keep going.
Conversation.
So that's audience, right? Hearing. So taking those two things of I see and I hear, how can I interject that knowing now that you're aware and allow that to be my guide in my life? So one, you're a photographer. Yeah. Seeing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Vision is first. Yeah.
And we are what? Talking on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Communication. So think about that, right?
Yeah, very true.
So you're aligned. You are aligned with your true self right now by exercising your photography and connecting with people in a podcast format like this is.
I can honestly say that in this last, I would say 6 months to a year, I've fully come to the realization that this that I'm doing with the photography and with the podcast, this is my mission. This is what I'm here for. This is my purpose in life. I honestly feel that with every fiber of my being, that this is me. This is what I'm here for.
Exactly. Because it's your truth.
Yeah. It feels incredible.
Yes. That's exactly it. That is power. That is authentic power.
100%. Mm-hmm. It's the most amazing feeling in the world.
So happy to hear that for you. But also for your listeners, right? As they're listening, look within yourselves, right? Look and trust. It's like, what comes first for me? And then use that as a way to take inventory of the things that are happening in your life. And are you listening? Are you seeing? Are you feeling? Or is it just no, that this is not right? Or this is right for me? And then lead your life that way, and it will never lead you wrong.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty incredible. I never thought about it at it that way. That's a great way of opening up the mind to think about that and really stand back and look at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These are all things that we learn over time. And that I've had some really great teachers along the way to help me and hone my craft, my gift.
Yeah.
Because it is such a whimsical, ornate thing. And it's hard to create structure and a process that makes sense in our analytical mind, our thinking mind. Because that's just not how our mind and our soul, they're totally two different beings.
For sure.
And they operate very differently. So if we can learn to marry the two, which I have, and I'm learning as I go, you get to make sense of it all.
Absolutely. It's an awakening.
Absolutely. Awakening. Love that.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
World peace. As cliche as that sounds.
Okay.
World peace.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
To love yourself unconditionally.
That's a big one. That's a big lesson for a lot of people. Again, it goes back to the whole thing that we've been repeating throughout this conversation is the foundation of us. That's where everything begins.
You bet. Got to love yourself first before you can love anyone else.
That's right. Or anyone else can love you.
Exactly.
Besides our parents, because that's unconditional.
I don't know about that. No,
well, you know what? Honestly, I have to say, I think the only creatures capable of unconditional love are dogs.
They are loyal. They really are.
There's nothing else that can love you unconditionally, I don't think, in life. They, no matter what you do, they will always love you. They'll always be there, tails wagging.
Absolutely. They don't care what your job is, what you do, how much money you make, what kind of car you drive, how big our house is. No. And
isn't it incredible? You leave the house for 5 minutes or 5 hours. The reaction is the exact same when you come back.
Yes. Even if I leave the one room and go to the next and come back. Yeah, exactly.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Animals are the best in general. I love animals. They're so pure.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I guess the question could be, what do you do to raise your vibration?
Okay, there you go. What do you do to raise your vibration, Tasha?
I raise my vibration by coming home to self, grounding myself, connecting with myself, accepting myself, learning from my mistakes, taking accountability, and being the best person that I can by living out my values of honesty, integrity, love, courage, compassion. And I do this through meditation. I do this through being around people that support me unconditionally as much as they can, but mostly trusting myself and loving myself.
Again, back to self.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Never stop believing in yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
That's a good one. 30-second speech to the world.
Yeah.
Right. The podium is mine.
The podium is yours. Take it away, Tasha.
Absolutely. I would say to stay true to you. Stop hiding who you are. Show the world your truth. Stand in your power. Lead with your heart. Love yourself, your fellow humans unconditionally. Know and trust that we are all equals, that no one is better than anyone. No one is special, not even you, not even me. That we all breathe the same air that, as one another. We all live, we all die. And we're all souls living in a human body trying to figure out life. We are only energy, and the energy that you bring into this world truly does matter. So, make the hard choices, as they're likely the choices that will help you change the world for better. Yeah, and just stop hiding. Be true to you.
Tasha, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me today and share a bit about your story and your journey and your insights with us all here today. And this has been an incredibly inspiring conversation. I've smiled ear to ear during the whole thing. It's been so interesting and so intriguing, and you are truly inspirational and a beautiful soul and a beautiful human being. So I appreciate you taking part in this community that I'm creating or that we are creating together, and just being on the podcast has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the platform to share my freak and to let my freak out and hopefully inspire and encourage others to do the same.
I'm sure this will be one for sure.
Well, thank you so much,
Tasha. It's been amazing speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. My guest today has been Tasha Romanelli. She is an intuitive healer based right here in Toronto. Thanks, Tasha. I hope you have an amazing afternoon.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.